Oh, good morning.
Helps if I move the microphone in front of myself. I
I've heard that.
I couldn't hear myself. Why can't I hear it myself?
Because you probably didn't want to.
Because I didn't want to. Yeah, they told me I sound like Mike, so.
I have heard that.
Well, probably because your name, Mike.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, somebody the other day said they had minimized it and were just listening to it while they were working, and they thought Mike Minarski was back,
Oh,
was
is
like
that right?
doing it, and then they had to look, and they're like, "Oh no, it's not him."
Oh.
So yeah, so you must sound alike.
We've hung around too long, too many years, too much time with each other.
That's all right.
Okay. And I hear a buzz in my left ear, which is I think is telling me that someone wants to chat. And,
A buzz.
Yeah.
Do you have the chat up?
I have chat up, but it's from 2 days ago.
Oh, that's not good. We need to find
Yesterday's
today's.
one. That's what I'm trying to figure out how.
Oh no, we definitely need the chat.
How do I find today's? Let's go way up top here, and it says.
Still working out the bugs.
Yeah.
It happens. Mike makes it look very easy.
Post a comment display. Click here. Click on them to show. Yeah, I got that. Okay, it's telling me what Mike already told me in the paper, but I'm not.
It's weird that it would bring up a chat from a few days ago. I didn't like why.
Well, yesterday's just stayed there because somehow I pushed the chat overlay and actually put it on the screen.
Yeah.
So that everybody could see all the chats I was doing, but it didn't name anybody that way. So
yeah, I just had Facebook user and everything.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to go that way today. But I'm trying. How do I just click out of chat? I'm going to do that. I'm going to click out of chat for everybody.
That's
and I'm going to click back in and hopefully chat. And it's wanting to say overlay. Okay.
Sometimes the chat can be the best part of the show.
I know. We got all these wonderful comments from people that just make things flow.
They do, and they're funny. Yeah, the people that join, the people that join in, and just the different thought processes and the things that they come up with are funny.
If I can get in touch with Mike somewhere out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, he said he should have internet. So
oh, really?
I don't know. But he said he should. I don't know if he meant just for the day he left or always.
I think you can typically get it. It's not cheap. But God Almighty!
I know that's in a bad spot, isn't it?
Yeah.
The leg of that table is awful.
Oh, we need to actually rotate that table 90 degrees and put that leg between the chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
I agree.
Or we can move you guys and move the cameras.
No.
Either way, I don't know.
That would be another simple.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the chat overlay is trying to get on there too.
There we go. Laura. Oh, I got Laura. Good morning, everyone. I'm getting names today. I must have done some button right.
Oh yeah, okay, I see. Yep, and then
Laura
I just
says good morning, everyone.
All right, so you have a post. You have
Kathy
it up on
says good morning. Yeah, now it's right on.
All right, it's on there.
There we go.
And names, I see names.
That's what I'm saying. That's wonderful.
Hey, all right, whatever.
Let's
not
Laura.
question it.
I appreciate that for starting the day for me. Okay, so
good morning.
We got technical guy. Well, what's up for today? What we got?
Oh, who knows? We always just kind of wing it.
Well, I'm just looking at traffic.
So, yeah, I know. I'm just always looking out the window.
Traffic advisory is the same.
Yeah. One thing I did see when I was looking through news this morning, if you can call it news these days, 50 days till fall already. Here we are in August, and we have 50 more days till fall. Summer is officially winding down.
So how far are we into summer?
I certainly like the fall myself.
Do you?
Yeah, I like the fall better than the spring. Well, I like all the seasons actually.
So it's like 90 days per season about.
Yeah,
I guess approximately
days, 90 something,
91 and a quarter.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So we're not even halfway through summer, and we're worrying about fall.
Yeah,
just like Walmart.
Yes. Well, oh my gosh, they had back to school stuff at Walmart like several weeks ago. I was shopping, and those front aisles all had notebooks and stuff.
So I expect to shortly see 4th of July Christmas stuff come out on the 4th of July.
Yeah, seriously. So the Halloween stuff's out already.
I was looking in June for camping stuff, summer camping stuff.
It's all gone.
And I'm like, it was all in this big section, seasonal. I'm like, where'd it go? Wait a minute, it's June. Wait a minute, here it is, June 21st.
Yeah.
I'm like, What? Where is it?
Yeah,
You
first
know?
official day of summer.
Yeah,
But unofficially, it's winter at that point.
Well, yeah, I was lost.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, so here we are counting down.
Counting
and I'm sure a lot
down.
of the parents out there with young kids are probably counting down till school starts.
oh gosh, I didn't. When I was a kid, it was like, when's school? Tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah. I know I needed to prepare. I had to plan ahead and have all my stuff ready. And I like to have everything like
No.
ready to go, kind of mentally preparing to get back into it. And I think down south they start a little sooner, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Oh, looking at the school season, I mean, you usually get out around the 22nd of June or something like that. So the summer season, as far as the school is concerned, is more than half gone already.
Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah.
I knew when summer was starting. That's when I got my annual haircut.
Your annual haircut.
Oh, my father took the clippers and took the guard right off it.
Oh,
Zing, zing, zing. Once a
gotcha.
year. That's all he paid for. And of course, the hair was down to my shoulder by next June.
Mm.
But once a year, it was gone. So I knew that was inexpensive. Here you go. There's 3 boys. Here you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Well, it's like, see, I never had that problem.
yeah.
I don't need a haircut.
Well, I didn't. I got to truly say, by the time I was 16, it was going. Really, you could see there was just like so.
That's some deficiency in our whole vitamins health thing, I think.
All I know
causes
is
that.
my grandfather, by the time he was 18, was completely bald on
I'm
top.
just gonna say, is it hereditary?
Yeah, my dad. And then they say, well, it goes through your mom's side. You kidding me? All my uncles and cousins and everybody on my mom's side, my grandfather, everybody had a full head of hair.
But you know, we're
So-
special though, Mike,
Why?
because God made but few perfect heads. The rest he covered with hair.
Oh, that's a good one. I never heard that one.
You never
No,
heard that?
no,
before?
I got to start using that one. I got a friend of mine who's had a couple of accidents at work and stuff, and he's got a little scar in his head and this and that. And as he got older, he shaved his head. And he's like, he looked at my head and goes, wow, your head's perfect. I'm like, no, it's just been bald a long
Like,
time.
oh, thank you.
it's like a fashion thing. Like that.
It's gotten sanded smooth from wearing that hat.
There
see?
you go. There you go.
And maybe that's the problem. I mean, I've worn a hat all my life. Have you?
No, I didn't
No?
start wearing a hat till I started getting thin up top and got cold in the winter.
Oh. Hmm.
But nothing to do about just being sensitive about not having the hair or anything like that.
No,
then, huh?
actually, my eyes are hypersensitive to light, so I always wear something with a dark brim. It
Oh.
helps because I get if I don't watch, I get like good morning, Victoria. I get a snowblind effect.
Uh-huh.
You know, that everything washes out, so I got to be careful. Dehydration and light bother me.
Wow.
So, yeah, my ex-wife used to call me a bat because I could walk around in the dark. I need very little light. And when I was in the military, they put me in the front of the line because I had this little bitty old-fashioned flashlight strapped to my helmet, and I'm leading the whole company because I could see. So
Wow.
there's advantages to it, I guess. And they asked me if I wanted to be a sniper. I says, I can't shoot a rifle straight for anything. No, I could barely pass the test.
Oh, jeez.
I thought everybody passed and was a marksman.
No.
Have you ever heard of anybody that
No,
isn't a marksman?
it took me 3 tries.
But you did it.
I did it.
But you did it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So
Well,
I don't know. That's go ahead.
most of us aren't very proficient the first time we do anything.
no, I understand that. Yeah, because what had happened was I noticed a lot of the people that were in the military with me at the time had been people who had hunted as kids.
I was
or
going to
they'd
say.
been, they'd been doing things. I had never fired a firearm before I went in the service, ever. So I was just totally brand new at it.
That was just because you weren't exposed to it, or you didn't, or your family didn't believe in
there
it.
was
or
no, it was just wasn't there.
wasn't there.
It, good or bad or right or wrong, they didn't have. There was just it wasn't part of their lives, and it wasn't part of mine. So.
Yeah, it wasn't part of mine either until such time as I probably started shooting around 25 or so, or maybe a little earlier than that.
Yeah.
Got involved in one of the shooting clubs. But my father wasn't necessarily opposed to it, but he wasn't necessarily in favor of it. He had a young cousin, about 7 years old, that got killed with an unloaded gun.
Ooh.
Uh,
Oh,
you know,
really?
that's standard.
Yeah, of
that's,
course.
that's something that stays with you.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what we same thing with us. My dad wasn't really opposed to it, and we always had like a little, like what are those little pump action 22s or whatever, those little, like what you have for little kids, whatever. We always had one of those, but never anything that we ever used or messed with. It wasn't until I got older that I got
So
into
you're a
it.
shooter?
I wouldn't say I'm a shooter, but I have gone out shooting, and we have shooting things in our house.
See,
all
my
that
kids
stuff,
grew up
but-
with not knowing I had firearms. I kept them in the safe in the back of the closet, buried underneath my shoes and extra stuff in the
Mhm.
closet, and they had no clue I had firearms. I
Yeah.
kept it away from them. I figured when they become adults, if they want to learn, but neither of them showed any interest.
Yeah. No,
And that's what you just said there. That's a real problem. I mean, a lot of people have firearms for sporting purposes, but a lot of people have firearms for self-defense purposes.
Mhm.
And if you got to keep it locked in your safe,
Right.
and I'm not saying you shouldn't if you got young children around,
Yeah.
what good is it to you?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
self-defense. Yeah. See, I did it because a friend of mine and we had my best friend for 39 years. He passed a few years ago. But we would go out to the range. He was a member of the local clubs.
Yep.
And we go out and shoot. So it got me into shooting handguns.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I had a firearm. It was for sport only. It was
Yeah.
not for protection.
Yeah, we have both. We belong to the Sprague Rod and Gun Club.
Yep.
And so we, Rich has gone there shooting's taken Ryan and thing, to go kind of have like bro day, guy day
Yeah.
at the shooting range. And so we have the safes, a couple of them, and they, everything stays stored unless he's going to a range or something. And then we also have what he carries, and that stays in the nightstand. And we don't have young kids or
Yeah.
anything like that, but we also do have a safe by the nightstand because we have options. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. I mean, if it's for self-defense, what good is it if you have to try to unlock a safe and
Understandable. But there's
but
still
and
ways
he
to
also
keep it.
carries in
There's
public, so he's got that.
still ways to keep it safe and away from children and
Absolutely.
protection. So just using those,
Mm-hmm.
those basic things are helpful.
Yep. No, definitely, especially in this day and age.
Well, I
Yeah.
see Jim's got a list.
Oh,
No,
this
that's an old list.
Oh, it's an
Yeah.
old list.
That's
Oh,
an
okay,
old-
okay.
yeah,
I wasn't
it's an
sure.
old list, yeah.
Oh, that's the one that was over here. Okay.
Yeah, that's over
Oh,
there.
okay.
yeah.
I saw that.
Those are the subjects Mike doesn't want to talk about.
Oh, you had to write them down. Oh my. Yeah, because when you got to tell people, there's certain topics you don't want to talk about, and religion, politics.
Love them both.
Love them both.
Right up his alley.
You want to talk about them?
People don't want to talk about. And the thing is, I don't know a lot about any of that or anything. I know a little bit of this and that. I'm a handyman of knowledge. How's that? I know how to fix a little this, fix a little that, this, and I'm not expert at anything.
Mhm.
I say the same thing, Mike.
Oh, okay.
I can talk about almost anything intelligently, but I don't have a huge depth except mostly in the science field.
Oh, yeah. And I made a statement yesterday. I wanted to make sure that I got it right.
Uh-oh.
That's just me. I said that I'm worried. I said something wrong. So I went back online and I checked up on how much water you should drink in a day.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not as much because what happens is they put in that the 64 ounces also includes any moisture in your food.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's not just 64 ounces of water.
Yeah.
So if you're drinking milk, you're having a soda, you don't need the 64 ounces of water on top of it.
Mhm.
So that's I think that was my point yesterday.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
So liquids,
Like
fluids.
fluids
Yeah.
into your body. It doesn't have to be water.
One of my doctors basically because I didn't drink a lot. Carolyn was always after me about drinking more. She wanted me to start drinking. I think she said 64 ounces.
Mm.
Okay, but I squeeze a slice of lemon into it and a little bit of a Himalayan salt
Mhm.
There you go.
because that
Perfect.
actually restores some of the electrolytes that you're
Mhm.
losing out.
Yep.
So I've been doing that for a couple of months.
Mhm.
Do I notice any difference? Not that I know, but
Because that's I do the lemon. I don't get real lemons, so they go bad before I use them all.
Mhm.
And but I get the bottle of lemon juice
Mhm.
and I put just a couple ounces into a cup or a bottle and just drink it that way. And of course, when I go out to a restaurant, it's always water with lemon.
Yep.
Part of it is I got started doing that because I grew up in Voluntown on well water. I can't stand chlorinated water.
Oh, yeah.
It's like turpentine to me. I just, oh no, gotta, so that's why when I go to a restaurant, I ask, lemon? No. Oh.
Mm.
Anybody else on the water here that's listening? I mean, I've had complaints from some of the condo associations about the smell and taste of this, and I noticed even taking a shower this morning.
On not well
Not-
water.
no,
the,
no, no.
The city
Public
water.
water.
Public water. Yeah.
I'm on public water. I haven't noticed anything.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if, with all the extra rain we've gotten intensely this year, not saying we've got a lot of extra rain
Yeah.
overall, but intensely, I wonder if that affects the whole system.
I suspect it probably does.
Probably
What
has
they need-
something to do with it.
I one of the associations, I just said to call the water company and have them purge the hydrants.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Sometimes I see them. From what I'm told, where I live, I'm at the end of the line. So sometimes it gets like sediment and stuff.
Yep.
I guess at the end where we are. So you see them come out once in a while and see them out there turning valves and flushing stuff, and then after that, it's usually kind of like it'll look rusty,
Mhm.
until I got to run everything, and then it's fine. But yeah, that happens.
It's a musty. It's that musty smell
Yeah.
that's in the water right now.
No, I haven't noticed that.
Let's see. Laura says you have to subtract things that would dehydrate you also
Mhm.
on that 64 ounces, like alcohol, coffee, tea, exercise. Yeah, you have to adjust to your diet and to how much exertion you do.
Well, hold on. Let's not go too crazy. We don't want to be subtracting that. I mean, how
No,
much
but-
alcohol do we really want to subtract? Or coffee?
Well, no. She's just saying
Neither
if
one of
you-
them is going to
No,
affect
no,
me because
no,
I don't
no.
drink
I know,
alcohol and I
I
don't drink
know.
coffee.
I don't think she's saying don't do that.
No, I
think
know
she's
what you're saying,
add
no.
more water if
I-
you do that because you're naturally your body's
Don't
different.
count that in your
Right.
64 ounces.
Right, and it might be actually taking away, so you might have to drink more of the
More alcohol? More
More
coffee?
more
You just have to drink more of it,
more
right?
of it. Yes, but yeah, it makes sense if you want to really look at how it all works.
Yeah. Well, especially during the summer, if you're exercising or you're, outside, if you're a runner and you're, out there in 90-degree weather and
Yeah.
you're going to be pouring sweat. Yeah. You definitely need to account for that for sure.
Also, we get up there from my daughter.
I see that.
Leanne Flores. She says happy birthday, and that my granddaughter's on to sing you later today because yesterday
Aw.
was my birthday.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
happy
happy
I turned
birthday.
I turned 60 yesterday.
Oh.
Oh, the big
didn't know
6-0,
that.
Big
huh?
6-0, yeah.
Wow.
Well, wait till you turn the big 7-0, the big 8-0, the big
Yeah.
9-0.
I remember 30 was a hard one too. Something about the 0 at the end was hard. I don't know why.
Well-
every decade, I'm like,
Me
oh, where
too.
am I? What do I do? Self-evaluate. What's going on?
A girl I dated years ago, when she turned 30, that was a horrible, horrible time for her.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't know why. I mean,
Well,
I had a hard time at 30. That
Did
was
you?
a rough one for
is
me.
that
Yeah.
typical of women then?
I don't know. I don't know. I 30 was, I felt like I was officially like
Over the hill?
old. Like I was officially old at 30. Like 20s, I was still like, a young kid. And then, you're still figuring out you're young. And then all of a sudden 30, and it's like, oh, I don't hear that as often.
I think it's all got to do with how you feel about it. It's to me. I mean, I'm a lot older than anyone sitting at this table.
Yeah.
At
And,
30.
but I see people who are younger than me. Who, of course, I'm not the thinnest person in the world. I'm a heavy set person, but people are younger that have worse health condition than
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and I'm looking at they're quite a bit younger than me. I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that going to the Plainfield Town Hall pool
Yep.
and working out in the pool 2 to 3 times a week for 45 minutes to an hour. And I push myself. I mean, I go in and I'm moving nonstop. And I find that having that weight off the body
Yep.
Yep.
and then being able to go further than I normally would and pushing myself has really helped because during the pandemic, it was horrible for me.
No.
Oh, I was
for a
like
lot of
sore and
people.
achy.
Yeah.
But it took me about 6 months back in the pool, and I felt like I dropped like 10, 15 years off of me.
Yeah.
It's, just,
Mhm.
it's amazing how.
I mean, isn't swimming supposed to be one of the best exercises for you because you're really not putting much strain on
It's low
On-
impact.
on your joints
Yeah,
and-
and
yeah.
it's
stuff.
low
Yeah.
impact.
Mhm.
But I do force myself to go from just over halfway from the pool. It goes down into the deep end, and I swim with my nose scraping the bottom of the pool because the water's more dense, and it actually takes so much more work to do it
Oh.
on one breath. So I go down, swim all the way down the bottom, and then come up the other end. and then I take 2 or 3 breaths and do the same thing again and come back. Then I get in place and start running in place and run for another 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And I just keep going, just keep going. Or I'll sit there and do crunches in the water. I slowed down on the crunches when I got over 7,000 in a day.
What?
Because
7,000?
Yeah, because there's a morning session and an afternoon session. The morning session, I did 4,000 crunches in the 2-hour session.
Oh my
And in
God.
the afternoon, I did 3,500. And I still got a gut. I don't get it.
Oh
But anyways.
my God.
But no,
It's
like
too
I said,
much of the
Wow.
junk food.
Yeah.
that's I tell everybody, I don't smoke. I don't drink alcohol.
Mhm.
I my biggest problem is I like food. I
That's
don't
my
like
problem,
sugary
too.
food.
See, I
But
got a
when
sweet,
I have that
I got a
hot dog, I
sweet
can't
tooth.
have one. I
Me
got to have
too.
2. I don't want 3 hot dogs. I should have 1, but I have 2.
Mhm.
You know, it's that type of thing. So,
I have a sweet tooth.
But you talked about the health, and especially for the younger people.
Yep.
And I think that's a real serious problem. And I think a lot of it is because of the nutritional value of the food that we are now being supplied with.
It's garbage.
It's garbage.
It's absolute garbage.
And the average child sits in front of the computer more than we used to because we didn't have a computer, so we're out.
Yeah.
We were physically.
Yeah.
And it's turning into somewhat of a requirement when you're at home and you got to use the computer to do homework and all
Mhm.
that. And we're still sitting at the desk writing when we were kids, but it just they seem to have more of the sitting time.
Oh,
less
definitely.
running around.
And when they're not on the computer, they're on their phone or they're on their games
There's
or
other
they're,
things to
there's-
entertain them
there's so many-
instead of
yeah.
out riding our bicycle and flipping over and
Mhm.
turning a head first into a dog poop.
Mm, yeah.
Mother did.
But
All these interesting
All
things
those
you
fun
remember.
stories.
Yeah, you
but
remember.
I mean, as a kid, we were out of the house after breakfast.
You
you
weren't
know?
allowed
Right.
to come back in.
And
Get
you
out,
know,
get out.
the main thing was after dinner you could go out for a while, but be back before the street lights.
Yes.
Street lights came on. That was me too. And we had to be in our yard because we were lucky. We had a telephone pole with a street light right there, and
Mhm.
it lit up our whole yard. So it's like it never got dark at my house.
Yeah. Yep. No, we did the same thing. It was like after breakfast, you were out and just you were
Yeah.
roaming the neighborhood, roaming your little, your area.
I was a baseball freak, so I wanted to play baseball every day, and some of my friends didn't want to do that. So I'd have to trade off with them. I'd have to play my cowboy and Indians with them because that's
Yeah.
what they wanted to play, and then we'd play baseball,
Yep. Yeah, we
or
would
football, or hockey, or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Oh, the young man that was a very good friend of mine since kindergarten. We haven't seen each other in like 4 years, but through the school we were going together. We're really good friends. But he was the guy who 4 of us would jump on him, and he'd still run for a touchdown. He was just this
one of those. Yeah.
muscular. I mean, he was 10, 12 years old, but muscular, strong guy. Just couldn't believe the things he could do at that age. So.
Yep.
But yeah, but you just turn around and look at all these things you used to do. They're adventurous. And, I lived on Beachdale Avenue in Ballantown, and it was the last house on the right. I tell everybody there's one house and then the state forest. So pretty much the state forest was my
your
backyard.
Oh,
yeah.
That was
everybody-
nice.
that's so
You
cool.
know, I a lot of times I don't talk loud, but boy, can I yell. Because how do you find your brother when you don't have a phone because
Yeah,
it wasn't there?
right. Yeah.
And he is, 3/4 of a mile away from you. How do you find each other in the state forest?
Yeah.
You yell.
You yell
And
and
we used to
scream. Yeah.
constantly yell for each other. Just, I had to use the restroom. I go into the bathroom, go all the way back home, and then I got to figure out where they are. You got to get out there and yell. So I developed this voice that was just outstandingly strong.
Mhm.
So it's
that
just,
must have been so fun.
oh yeah, it was the adventures out there, getting stuck in the mud, and
Oh
playing with snakes that you didn't know you shouldn't play with. And
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
fortunately, we don't have a lot of those around here.
Not too many, but there's a couple. There's a couple that
Yeah.
you could. What are the ones that are around the rocks?
The
That,
rattlesnakes.
yeah, rattlesnakes. Yeah, those we have
And then
those
the
around
water
here.
moccasins.
water
Ugh.
moccasins. Yeah, well, that's the
Ugh.
ones we used to play with.
Oh, geez.
We didn't know they were poisonous. We just played with them. Water moccasins. It's in the water. Get the fishing pole. Pull it in. Yeah, hook that thing. Check it out. We're kicking it and we're moving it with a stick. And we're just, we're kids. We're playing with
playing
it.
with it. Yeah.
We didn't want to hurt it, and we let it go.
Oh my god.
You sure it wasn't just a black snake that you were thinking was a water
Yeah,
moccasin?
Yeah,
Maybe,
really.
I don't know. It could have been a water moccasin. Could have been a black snake. But the lady who was the house that was between our house and the state forest, the lady come up and told us it was a water moccasin. So, and she
Jeez.
was, a lady and senior citizen who had lived there her whole
Yeah.
life. She says, that's
So she
definitely
probably
Walmart.
knew.
I mean, I
yeah.
spent a lot of
God.
I spent a lot of time in the woods where we lived because we had half a mile of woods behind us before there was another street, you know.
Yep.
But I never. I mean, I've seen lots of snakes, but I never encountered either a water moccasin or a rattlesnake in all my years.
My neighbor saved his brother from a copperhead
Ooh.
Yeah.
in Voluntown. He took the rock and he saw it. His brother was there. He was playing in the little stream behind their house, and he saw it and he took the rock and just slammed it because he walked up from behind the snake. The snake didn't see him. He didn't know what kind of snake it was, so he just took it and smashed it. And then his mother researched it and it was a copperhead. So,
Holy cow.
it's like, you live in the woods, you
Yeah, I mean that's what happens.
part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I grew up in Norwich, and we had some woods, but not a lot where we were. But we were more like going down to the school and hanging out at the school and basketball and playing in other kids' yards and then we would play in the middle of the road. We had like a perfect like short road, stop sign to stop sign, and those were the end zones. Like those, that's where we'd play football.
See what happened to them, Mike? They played in the middle of the road.
Well, no, I did too. Beachdale Avenue is a dead end. So we played baseball, and all you hear is car.
Yes.
And everybody run out of the road,
Yes.
and then everybody run back in. And we had painted little spots on the road for
the bases.
home base
Yeah.
and second base. But first and second were on the sides, and we played baseball, softball, kickball, everything out there.
Yeah, we would do football, and people had their cars parked on the side of the road. Sometimes it was my parents' car, and football would be bouncing off the car. And my mom would come out, get off my car, all pissed because we're bouncing balls off the cars and trucks. And but we had fun.
My mother's car looked like somebody had been using it for golf ball practice. It's a backstop.
Like it got stuck in a hailstorm or something.
Yeah, hailstone. That's a better expression. Yeah.
We had fun, and it was the street light thing, and be home by street, and you didn't want to be stuck inside. It was boring inside. You're gonna be made to clean your room or do something like that. You didn't want to be inside during the summer.
But of course, I mean, society has changed so much today too that a lot of parents they're not going to let their kids out.
That too. That too. Yeah.
They're just afraid of what's going on in the streets.
Yeah, and I could say, my daughter is 16. And she's like, oh, I want to go for a walk. I'm like, you're bringing the dog with you? Like, you're not. And I track her on Life 360. I'm like, you're not going anywhere without the dog, and I'm going to be tracking you. And there are times where she'll call me on the phone and she'll be talking to me while she's going for a little walk or whatever, And I'm like, I'm not letting you out without knowing where you're going and without the dog with you, at least.
Well, to give me a little peace of mind, I asked my daughter at age 9 if she'd like to do karate.
Mm-hmm.
14, she was a first-degree black belt.
Nice.
16, she was a second-degree black belt. She recently started going back with her daughters. So I always told everybody, because I announced for the Danielson Martial Arts Academy demo team, I'm the equivalent of my sound system, and I announced everything that's going on for them. And I used to say years ago that if I went somewhere it was a tough neighborhood, I wouldn't bring any type of weapon. I'd just bring my daughter.
Oh, that's cool.
Bring your daughter.
Yeah, because she took a guy my size down with one kick.
Wow.
I watched it happen, and this is during practice, and they were just goofing around, and and she just happened to come around with the top of her foot, hit him in the side of the ribs just right. Boom! He dropped to the ground.
Holy cow!
And broken
I'm
ribs
6'3", and she took him down. He's the same size as me. And it's like,
Jeez.
wow, So yeah, she's She
How many ribs did she break?
She didn't break any. She just the way you could see.
Just hit him just right.
Hit him just right. His whole rib cage shifted just that little bit, just enough to drop him.
Jeez.
He didn't lose consciousness or anything. It just physically just like stunned his body and it dropped.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God,
yeah,
that sounds painful.
she's when she can do it, she's powerful.
Mm.
So and she's I think she's what, 5'7".
Oh, Barb!
There we go.
Barb's here.
No, Mike's in the middle.
Mike's in on vacation.
Oh, nice.
In the
Yeah,
middle of
she's
the-
got to say hi.
Come on, what's that?
Good morning.
Have fun, guys.
See
Thank
ya.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I just, I think having our kids safe are a wonderful thing. And I think if we can teach them to teach themselves to be safe, that was.
Yeah.
And my son and I went through karate together. We both got about a little over halfway to becoming a black belt. And then life just changed
Of
for
course,
us.
yeah,
But
it
still, we have
happens.
some defensive knowledge, and I've been karate team demo for the announcer for like 18 years. So,
Well, the best defense, of course, is to stay out of situations where you need.
of course, the first thing is to run. If
Well,
you
I'm
see
not-
a situation,
I'm not the-
sorry. I was taught in the military, find cover, which means run, find cover, and then figure out the situation and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a rabbit. I'm a turtle.
Oh. But I'm not talking about running 50 feet. I'm talking about running to 10
Just
feet. You got to
getting
go to
out,
behind the
yeah.
corner of a building or under a car, or, find cover, and then worry about defending. Because if you don't have cover, you just leave yourself out.
Yeah.
We have some comments
Who we
here.
got?
Victoria agreed 30 was a rough birthday for her. She said that was the worst one for her, Victoria. So
Yeah.
she was, I don't know why. Maybe it is a woman thing that 30 was rough. Chris Anderson says, good morning. I keep missing.
Could it be with wanting to be a mom? 30?
I was already a mom of
Oh.
2 at that point.
Okay, never mind. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
thinking maybe because people thinking about there's a limitation on time frames.
Yeah,
to be a
that
mom.
may be for some people. And that may
Yeah.
be, I
You
don't
know?
know. I don't know. 30 was I just felt like I'm not young anymore.
Oh,
And like here I am now. I'm technically in my 30s, and that was just the sound. And then I knew 40s was after that, and it was just downhill from there.
I think but I think working with young kids keeps me young. It really does. I mean, when having to work with, not having to, but wanting to work with, kindergartens, third grade, for my education and everything. I think I just always was on the move. It made me move more. It made me
Yeah.
think about, are you willing to say the same thing in multiple different ways 100 times a day and be happy with that? If you're not, then you don't want to work with children too much.
Yeah, and that's why I don't work
that
with
becomes
children.
frustrating for you as an individual if you don't.
Yep. No, I'm one of those.
What would you call the best year of your life? What age?
Best year of my life.
Yeah. What were you?
Oh, it's hard because I know when my children was born, I was like, there was no high I could ever find anywhere else.
Yeah.
Having my,
How
and
about
I
you?
was Mr. Mom for years.
How about you,
So
Kathy?
The best year.
Oh, best period.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say my late teens into my early 20s.
I-
For me, it was at that point I was graduating high school. I started working at Pfizer at 19, which for me was like a huge accomplishment because I mean that you didn't really do that. So I started working, in pharmaceuticals at a very young age and was doing well and going back to school, and to me was just a very good time.
For me, it was 18. Yeah, graduated from high school, had a
Mhm.
car, had
Mhm.
friends to do things with,
Yeah, all the
had a few
social
dollars.
stuff.
I had a job, had a few dollars in my pocket. Had no real responsibilities. You know,
Yeah, that's exactly.
I was probably the unusual 16-year-old boy, or a man, or whatever you want to call him. At 16, I wanted children, but not a girlfriend.
Oof.
I
Wow.
don't know what it is. I love children. And for 3 years, I babysat my granddaughters while my daughter went to college. And for 3 years, I was like in heaven. It was fantastic. Just
Oh.
something about talking to a child. I get along with kids better than I do adults.
Mhm.
Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm immature. I don't know.
Say I grew up helping to take care of my younger siblings, and I think turned me off to
Yeah,
children.
Yes.
because
yes, I know people who've done
yeah,
that, and they were like, then it's not turning them off, but they have a different perspective because
much different.
as I never had any of that responsibility.
Yeah.
I was number 3 out of 4. I was the one that was forgotten,
Mhm.
literally. So
Yeah,
Well, I was
yeah,
number 1 out of 4, but my mother did not work.
yeah.
Okay, and so that I didn't, and my parents. I don't remember a babysitter, to be honest with you. Although I guess on rare occasions, either her mother or my father's mother would babysit for us.
Right.
They just weren't.
and that brings up a topic, kindergarten and preschool, all day kindergarten, all day, preschool or required preschool. How much younger are we going to be that our children are not experiencing more of their parents when they're younger? Because for someone I'm not an expert at this. I got my associate's in early childhood education. I volunteered for 6 years, the last 6 weeks at school while I was going to Eastern for Shepherd Elementary School and working with kids from 5 to 8 years old. So that's my extent of knowledge and understanding. Okay. But it's the idea when I watch a kindergartner every single day at 1:15, shut down because he's exhausted. All day kindergarten is a wonderful thing for teaching kids things, but I'm just looking at the physical aspects of it, fatigue. My granddaughter, when she came home on the bus and I'd get her off the bus in kindergarten, about 50% of the time she was sleeping on the seat. So I don't know. Is this? I could be wrong. Like I said, there's a good chance I'm wrong because I don't have a lot of information. But I look at it and go, is this right?
Do they still have like nap time or whatever in kindergarten, or like quiet time where they
yeah.
could lay down and rest?
Well, not lay down, but they have them put their head. When I was working, volunteering, I should say, they would have the kindergartners put their heads down and turn the lights off for a little bit, like after recess, after they've really extreme. So
I think one of the biggest problems we have in our society these days, and please don't misunderstand this. I don't care whether the man works or the woman works. Okay, I know many friends that are housewives. Okay, that are male housewives. Okay, we need to go back to where we can afford to live a middle class life on one paycheck.
Yeah.
And again, I say I don't care who's earning the paycheck. I don't have that.
It doesn't matter. Just
Yeah.
just have one
Yeah.
parent home
well,
taking care of
I
kids.
had committed to take care of my kids because now my ex-wife, my wife at the time, her job was the one that made the money.
Yeah.
So I stayed home, except for I was working for Plainfield Public Schools part-time in the evenings, cleaning the school as custodian. So after she got home, I'd leave, or there's sometimes a little overlap. My dad would help out, but pretty much I took the kids to school every day. My kids very rarely never rode the bus well. And then I turn around and pick them up after school every day, or have my dad or my at the time pick them up the very few times I couldn't. But it was just that involvement. Then all summer long, I would be with the kids all day, and that was my commitment. That was something I decided to do, and it was the best time of my life. I mean, you asked me what, and the more I think about it, it was just. And then then I got a chance to do it again for 3 years with my granddaughter's like, how much more can I have for pleasure? This is wonderful. So that's my thing. I think that's why I'm awkward around adults, because I relate
to kids
5 to 8
better.
year olds.
At 5 years old, you get complete honesty. There's
Definitely do.
There's no hidden agendas, and
Well, by the
It's
time
just very
everything else,
innocent.
By the
Yeah.
time
The
they're
innocence, yeah.
Yeah, but by the time they're 8, they're starting to get in a little attitude, and I go, well, I don't know if I would do that. That might not be a good idea, and I let them sort of decide it.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
That's a much better.
Well, and,
approach.
and again, too, I think with all the social media and all the electronics and everything that they have access to at 8 years old, that like they're starting to be exposed to things that we were exposed to at a much later age.
Because on Facebook,
And they're seeing things much earlier.
Yeah, because on Facebook you can do the limitation for kids. There's a limit you can put
Yeah,
on.
kids don't use Facebook.
Well, no, there is. My granddaughter does. She's 7, but she's limited to who she can contact. There's a whole
Yeah,
my daughter's
there
like-
is with
Yeah,
Facebook.
my daughter's got that all set up, so my granddaughter can actually message me.
Yeah.
On Facebook, and she's always messaging at 7. She thinks wonderful. She keep touching me. And I think that's good because it gets her used to the technology, and
Yep.
she does that. So, and my daughter also, guess what? What? It's lunch. Yep. No more electronics.
Yeah. Well, you have to
At
be
5 and 7.
you have to be careful though at that age, because their friends have access to other social medias, and they're going to learn, oh, well, what's that? What are you on? And oh, you can look at this and look at that. And the next thing you know, that's how they're learning about all the other platforms that are out there. And then next thing you know, they're, making videos and doing their dances, and they're posting stuff. And you're like, whoa, what, how, where, what, what are you doing? I mean, you have to stay so vigilant, so on top of that, because they're exposed through all their friends to all these things that as a parent, you don't even know about.
Oh, when your kid comes
It's very
home
scary.
learning words that you didn't want them to know from the kid
Oh, yeah.
just sitting next to them in school. So
Yep,
where do they learn
exactly.
it? I don't know.
Well, you mentioned technology, and I spent my career in technology, and I got to tell you, I've come to hate it. I literally hate the technology that's out there.
Yeah,
The
Laura's-
way it's evolved
Yeah.
is scary.
Yeah, because Laura said I never understood half day kindergarten. She was a working parent,
Mm-hmm.
and her kids went to daycare half a day because the parents, work. And no, I'm not saying we
Yeah.
don't do daycare. I don't say but where do we as a society, not saying anybody's done anything wrong or anybody's the situation they're in that helps them. It's wonderful. I understand that. But I'm just saying where as a society as a whole, at what age do we now
I
say,
think that kindergarten, maybe pre-kindergarten is a little early, but I think kindergarten is a good thing as long as it's very low key.
Right. And that's
Okay.
what I was asking
And-
about the downtime that they would have.
And the other thing is, I think it's much better to hold, if your child is old enough, but not old enough yet, if you know what I mean,
Mhm.
they can get into the school because of the certain dates of their birthday. I think it's better to delay them a year so that they're not the youngest one in the
Yes.
class, but they tend to be the older
Older
side
one,
of the
yep.
class.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Yeah, and Laura's right. I mean, the cost of daycare
yeah,
is
so I can see where it can assist. I really
astronomical.
do, but I'm not looking at that end of it, everybody. I'm just looking at the children's end of it. And there are children who thrive in all day kindergarten. There are children who thrive in all day preschool, and they're fantastic, and it works for them because I look at every child as an individual learner.
Mhm.
So for the 3/4 of the class, that everything's fine. I'm still looking at how can we adapt for that child who can't make it through the day. How do we?
Yeah,
And
you-
because they tend to stop misbehaving when they're tired. It's
Oh,
always
yeah,
after,
cranky. And,
yeah,
I mean,
'cause-
adults misbehave when they're tired.
Right,
I
right.
mean,
so
come on.
so the thing is, then
That's
behavior.
true.
Yes.
Then we have children with behavior situations that they're not really wanting to do, but it's just they're tired. Let's see. My granddaughter's asked about
Oh yeah, Roblox. Yeah, that's another one. Yep.
they can't without checking with them first, and
Mhm.
yeah, because my daughter's the type of person who, when my grandkids do something wrong, I'm sorry, you got a restriction on that. You can't do that for a while. You can't
Yeah.
do this. So they're fantastic. You
Yeah.
know.
And Roblox, careful because they can talk to other people on Roblox.
Yeah. Well, it's
And so
they
you have
gotta-
to you just have to, as a parent, you have to be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just I hate to say like the helicopter parent, but you
Yeah.
you have to
You
be.
have to be,
I mean,
to a certain
there were so many times where I would always take my kids' phones. We'd do like random checks, like just they never knew when it was coming. I would go and check it and I'd be like, what's this? What's that? What's going on here? Looking through their messages, that sort of thing. And I mean, they absolutely hated it, but sorry, I mean, that's
and
my
daughter's,
job.
daughter's a stay-at-home mom, but she's a website designer
Hmm.
and does that part-time.
Yep.
She's done buku other things, always trying to find a little something to do in between taking care of the girls.
Yeah.
The girls are at school. She just told me the other day about a novel she wrote. So I'm like,
Wow.
A novel.
I don't remember her. She might have mentioned it to it because
Wow.
but the other day I'm looking at this big novel on it. I'm like, wow, that is amazing. So
That's
I-
pretty cool. Yeah, you have to be careful. Just have to be vigilant. Stay
Yeah.
on top of your game. Things are going to get by you,
and
and then you feel like you suck because
And-
you're
and-
like, oh my god, how could I have let that get by me? But
And
it
this is
happens.
part of all what I'm saying about
Yeah.
hate and technology at this
Mhm.
point.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And I was very fortunate to have two children who have turned out fantastic. Not saying that other kids have had situations that come arise that no one planned for, and it's at nobody's fault, but things happen with drugs and alcohol and crime and all that. And I was so blessed to have children who were willing to let me guide them through some of the things in life, and because I'm the type of parent who talks into the kids go, I'm not going to do anything wrong because I don't want him talking to me. But they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I've been so blessed with that.
Well, that's all you can do. You do
you
the
see
best you
everything-
can.
But yeah, but you see everything else that's happening in life. You look in the news and you see all the kids locally, even that are
Mhm.
having situations that are because they were the gang that was running around here in Jewett City. What was it last year?
Oh,
They
the
were-
bike bandits.
Okay, was that what they're called?
Right.
But still,
The kids on
I was
bikes
so
are
fortunate and blessed that
causing a
my kids
ruckus.
were not even that.
Yeah.
So
We were afraid to do anything like that because if we ever got sent out home from school, I mean, the punishment at home would have been far superior.
Yeah.
Just never.
yeah, because when something happened with my kids in school, I would be there because because I worked.
Because you were home. Yeah.
I would physically go there and say, okay, what's going on? And I'm not going to say my child's wrong. I'm not going to say the school's wrong. I'm going to say, how can we prevent this from happening again?
Yeah.
You know, because I wasn't here to see it. So I don't know, you know, it's sort of
Very
like a judge.
proactive.
I'm trying to be independent person so that I can give my child the idea that I'm trying to be reasonable with life for them. And I'm trying to be reasonable with the school to let them know, okay, so this went wrong, this situation happened, or this went this way or that way, something happened. How do we make that not happen?
Yep.
And by having that kind of attitude, I never really, the school people really liked the idea that when something wrong, they knew I was coming in, not to yell and scream and holler and blame them or get on my kid's case or that's let's just fix it. Make it better.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. And your daughter says that they have online friends. Oh, she has online friends, some from when she was 14. But she's not fully against online friends until they're older, which I mean, that's-
When they become you know, that 12, you know, they're getting into junior high. Yeah, we can still a limitation, you know.
Yeah.
I think
they're
limitation and then like everything else, you got to take it case by case situation. Don't blanket anything. Don't say, well, your sister did this or your brother did that, or individualize.
Yeah. Well, that
I know I came into Carolyn's life when her daughter was 13 years old. Man, that's a tough time to come into a young,
yes,
young
it
girl's
is.
life, you know? But I mean,
Sure
now we're
is.
like that.
That's it. But as long as you respect, you know, give as much respect as possible. I don't demand any respect. I just try to give it when I first meet you. In my perception is you are a very good friend, and all you can do is go down from there.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point where life isn't just working between the two of us. Then I'm like, okay, well, I guess life isn't working.
You have to earn respect. Okay.
But I try to give it to begin with.
And that's a good way to earn it is by giving it to begin with.
Yep.
All right, I got to run as I
Oh yeah, that's
mentioned
right.
to you
Oh, that's
earlier.
right.
You gotta
Yeah.
go. That's
You
right.
got
You
an
gotta-
appointment.
I do. All right. Nice
Enjoy.
being with you this morning.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
too.
Thank you for
Nice
coming
chatting
in.
with you.
I'll see if I
Don't
was
hit
gonna,
your
I was
leg
going
on
to try
the-
and keep from knocking the table over.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
We got to shuffle the chairs.
well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure because I think we need to shuffle the people because if
could do that
Mike
too.
is sitting there and if we rotate the table 90 degrees,
That
then
moves
he's gonna have the leg right
Yeah,
between
Oh,
his
that's
legs.
true.
so. If we shuffle
We need to
guests,
shuffle the people.
we shuffle the guests.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about just totally upending the entire studio while he's gone anyway
Yeah.
as a prank. So
Well.
we could do that too.
Well, we could do that, yeah. You know.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you later.
See you
Thanks,
later,
Jim.
Jim.
Bye bye. I don't see you. Have a good weekend.
Yes,
You
you
too,
too.
Jim.
But yeah, the online stuff can be tricky, and as the kids get older, it just gets harder because they find there's more options. And as a parent, you just have to stay so on top of all the new
Yeah.
things that are coming out, and it's exhausting
And-
because
and-
just when you think you've got the hang of it, you're on top of it. There's something else that they surprise you with, and you're like, "What is that? Like, where'd that come from?"
And it cost me not being the technology person.
Yeah, but I
as
wasn't
far
either.
as
Your
that type
kids
of thing.
kind of force you to
Well,
be, honestly.
My kids taught me. How's
Yeah.
that? Because when my daughter started preschool, there was a computer in the classroom
Mhm.
for the kids. They very rarely used it. But now in kindergarten, the computer lab is one of the week's schedules, like gym
Yes.
class, like music class.
Mhm.
So they get a chance to go in and play games that are supervised
Yep.
by the system, and that are learning games.
They get all their Chromebooks, like they have
Yeah,
the Chromebook thing.
I
and
got
they,
them
yeah.
all lined up
Mhm.
in there, and they also they got the computers that come to the classroom
Yep.
either way. But they sit there, and there are games they can play. They're all learning games that are fun. There's multiple varieties of them, so there's a lot of different ways, different interests with it. So with me, you know, I have a email address because of my son.
Mhm.
He set them up for me. You know,
Yep.
I'm like, and he's the one that taught me. And luckily, I got taught all that before I went to college. But then when I started college at age 42, my kids were teaching me stuff so I could be successful.
Yeah.
Because the basics of computers,
Yeah.
the basics of how to get into the different programs and how to make them work, and
Yeah.
so it's like, and I'm not great at it, but I'm finding that I have friends my age who are coming to me because they never got into it.
Wow,
Well, they're a
really?
little older than me, and they've retired, and they never got into computers because of what they did for a living.
Wow.
So they're coming to me to ask questions, and I give them help them as much as I can with what I know. And if I don't know, I says, hang on. And I
Mhm.
text one of my kids.
Yep, yeah,
You know, so
yep.
my kids learn, know more than I,
Mhm.
you know.
No, that's, I mean, because they've grown up with it. It's just, it's
Right.
almost innate
Right.
in
right.
them, that they have that.
And I think a lot of that was like with me with cars. I fell in love with technology of a car when I was like, must have been like 4 or 5 years old on Beechdale Avenue in Voluntown, little dead end at the end of the road. My father standing on the lap, and I'd sit there and grab the steering wheel. Of course, I didn't realize he was holding the bottom.
Right, of course, yeah.
And I drive down the road, and that got me fascinated with cars.
Yep.
So that was my technology.
That was your
at the
thing.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, still is.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's that type of thing. If we can keep our kids interested and informed, but along the way safe.
Yep. And that's the tricky part,
Yeah, that's
because
especially
there's so many things working against you as a parent.
today's world is so much more than it used to be.
Yeah, I don't know. Being a parent nowadays it's a tough job. And like we said earlier, you have both parents for the most part are out of the home working. Or even if they're in home working, they're still working. So it's not like they're, tending to kids 24/7, because
Right.
you do have to work,
Yeah.
you got to bring in the money. So,
Yeah.
you're being pulled in so many different directions, and to try to stay on top of everything, it's so hard. And like I said earlier, just when you think you kind of got a handle on it all, and then, they bring something else to your attention that totally was off your radar, and you just feel like you suck. You're like, oh my God, I suck as a parent. And you get so, you can get so down on yourself, but it's like, there's only so much you can do. You do the best you can with what you got. And, and the kids will be fine.
And
They're resilient.
And I'm lucky because I go to my granddaughters and I say, well, I don't know that. You'll have to ask mom or dad.
Yes.
Happy doesn't know those things.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, my granddaughters are showing me my granddaughters are doing it, and they got those little games you hold where you unplug the 2 little sides.
Oh, I've seen those. My
Yeah.
kids are older, so they don't have them. But yeah.
So they got those little games they're playing, and they're showing me how to do it all and what they're doing, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So I'm
Mhm.
learning from my granddaughters at 5 and 7.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I've always said, if you have the opportunity to learn something,
Mm-hmm.
learn it.
Mm-hmm.
You might need it 20 years from now. You might not, but
Yeah.
learn it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Yeah,
a-
why
I'm-
not?
I know a lot of people. I love Google.
You love Google?
I love Google. I love Google. I mean, I am constantly teaching myself more and more on Google every day.
I mean, just looking things up. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I wanted to learn about decibels,
Okay.
not decibels.
Decibels with a B, like
Yeah, with the
sound.
Sound. I wanted to learn more, and I learned more. I've got a whole chart written out, and I want to know the difference at a concert because they calculate how many feet back before decibels they'll drop.
Oh,
6
okay,
for
gotcha.
every, but then how intensity doubles every 10 feet. You're closer, and all this. It's got me fascinated to the point where, okay, concert inside 110 decibels, a concert outside 110 decibels.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference, and how far away you got to be, and how does it affect your ears?
Right.
Because anything over 70, they consider can do damage.
Oh,
And for
okay.
every decibel you go, 10 decibels you go up, it's like 100 times more intense on the force of the
Mhm.
sound.
Yep.
And then of course hertz is how rapid it is, how many you get in a second, waves of sound. So I'm like, oh, I'm teaching myself something new.
Yeah, and that's
I
why
can
when
learn
you
so much on the internet.
oh, there's I mean, it's
Just
information
Google.
overload. It's
Yeah,
information
just
overload.
Google,
but
Google.
that explains why you leave a concert and your ears are ringing and you
Yeah.
can't hear anything for a while
Yeah,
and you're
and-
screaming at
And
everybody.
when I was younger, I was complaining, why'd they put mufflers on the race cars?
Now
I
now you know why. Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yep.
Because I used to walk out of the speed bowl and my ears were ringing all the next day in
Yes.
school or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, some of those cars they go by and you can feel it in your
Yeah,
chest.
oh yeah, vibrates your who,
Yeah.
all of you. Yeah. So
Yep.
it's that type of thing where it's sound. It's just so I got interested in sound.
Oh yeah,
recently.
you could find so much information on there. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
It's endless. It really is.
So that's
But you just have to be careful with it all. That's all.
well, that's it. And of course, when I went to college, I look for stuff online that is got cited, so
Yep.
you know where people got the information
Mhm.
from. That's more of an academic information, so
Yep.
that you know this, you can back up to this, and then you can go to that article, and there's a citing for this one, and you can track back where all this came from. And that's when I did the water thing. I kept tracking back. As a matter of fact, even on this paper that I printed up for the water, about water and drinking water, I even got the website I got it off of on top. I always count that way. I can always go back and refer to it. But doing those type of things, and you can teach just so much. I'm like, why play games? I don't know.
When you can just go on and get information.
Don't get me. Free Cell. Okay, Free Cell. The original Free Cell card game online. I turned around and was a custodian at Plainfield Public Schools, and they were having problems with computers, and he left notes on the computers saying, please do not shut this one off. Others would say, if you find this on, please shut it off. They left them for custodian because this is all new for us. So I'm like trying to figure out how to shut them off. And all of a sudden, Free Cell was, what's this? It's a solitaire card game.
Yep.
So I'm like, lunchtime's in 5 minutes. I'm going to sit here
try to figure this out.
And I took about half my lunch to figure it out, and I still play. And this is a long time ago.
I used to play Free Cell.
This is back in the 90s. And I still play. That's my game.
Is it?
That's my game. I can play it for hours, and so. But it's the idea. Yeah, I play video games. I'm not saying I don't, but I have the opportunity to learn so many things. So anything I wonder, geez, I heard about this. I heard about that. I heard about this, and I want to.
Oh, it's right there in your hand. Yeah. I mean, it's Google. Man, I use it constantly.
So, and when I went to college, that's what I did. That's how. A lot of it had to do with the textbooks they were requiring me. But then I went and found other academic material about it besides that, because maybe the information that was in the book wasn't registering in my head, and I had more questions than the book was giving, and I'd ask the professor and they had it, but then sometimes I would just go, let me go look this up and see if I can get something that's worded or has a little something that makes it all connect for me.
Yep.
So it's
the creepy part though is when you're Googling something or you're talking to somebody about something, and next thing you know, your phone's sending you emails about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute.
Well,
it happened yesterday and it was really creepy for work. This was a work thing. I sent an email asking for a vendor, like information on a certain vendor that we've never used before. This type of vendor, it was going to be something new. And we were going to we had to go out and get bids and try to find these vendors that could perform the service for us. And I sent the email 10, 15 minutes later, I get a response back from the person I'm working with. And they said, I just got this email completely unsolicited from this type of vendor. Never heard of this vendor before, never gotten an email like this. Here you go, and passed it along to me. I was like, this is creepy.
We are predictable.
Creepy.
But we are predictable.
Oh, but that is just creepy.
Just the reference in which the patterns in which we work online are predictable. And that's what they do to us. So they can actually predict ahead sometimes where we're going.
Yeah.
So they can say, well, they did this. They
this
could
is
be
the
going.
next step.
There's like 5 different directions they could be going. I'm going to send them all 5. And then it's creepy because you see the one you did, but the other 4 are there too. So we are very.
But this was from an email. Like this was an email sent. It wasn't even like something online that popped up. It was an email sent from an actual business. It was so weird. It was just very strange.
But there was nothing before that you had been referencing that could have gotten.
Just in an email.
Wow.
Not even online. It was all through email.
Okay.
It was very strange. I hadn't Googled it. I hadn't looked it up. Nothing. Hadn't done anything else other than, hey, we're going to need this kind of vendor. Do you know of any? And he's like, no, never really, nope, not yet. We're going to have to try to look into it. And then all of a sudden he gets this random email from this company. Oh, hey, we offer this service. And we're like, what the hell?
Wow. That is,
how did that happen? It was creepy. It was very creepy. He's like, they're stalking us.
My daughter says your phone hears you.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even on my phone. This was on my computer, on my work laptop. It's
your
so
phone can
weird.
Hear you. Can your computer hear you?
It's so strange. The whole thing was the fact that it was over email and not on like online, like ad or anything like that. That's what creeped me out. I'm like, oh my gosh, now the emails are doing it. Like they're all coming after us.
But artificial information, intelligence
freaks me out.
Well, it's been programmed to search you out.
Yeah.
Every one of us.
Yep.
So it knows whatever we got for technology knows where you are.
Yeah.
So if you drove to a pizza restaurant 15 different times and never mentioned it online, the odds are you might get something because you where you physically were with your phone 15 times with pizza, you're going to get something.
Oh yeah. That stuff's popped up on my phone all the time.
Yeah. And then start adding it up, like I said, and it can stop predicting. So it might, wow, something we don't realize what we're doing
Oh no, I
might
think
bring them there.
yeah, artificial intelligence is just that's a scary path we're going down with all of that. But
And I think the discussion of it in Hollywood is a good way to bring it up without bringing it up as a horrible thing. It's a discussion on how it affects us
Mhm.
without making it a war or something really traumatic.
Well, then you get into
No.
the whole political aspect of it. Is
Yeah.
do we regulate it? Do we not regulate it? Is it freedom
Yeah.
of speech? Is it freedom? Yeah, I mean, like all of that whole side of it, and
But- well,
then what do you do with it?
Freedom of speech is also limited.
Yeah,
So
It is, and people
so-
forget that.
Yeah, oh, I got the right. You do to certain extents because
Yep.
you have to, when you speak, you have to consider others in the
Mhm.
world. We don't live here alone.
Yep.
So yeah, once we start looking at that, I think I'm hoping that there's some limitations
Mhm.
because this bullying of kids in high
Ugh.
school of each other.
Yeah.
They found another way to do it.
Yep.
Without physically being there,
Mhm.
but it can emotionally destroy people.
Yep.
So we have to start worrying about those type of things. So how do we fix that without touching?
And not only that, it's international. So you might be able to fix it here, but is it going to be fixed anywhere else? And
Right.
all of that plays a role into what we're doing. So
But the only way
it's
we
a
change
huge
the world
mess.
is by changing ourselves.
Yep.
And eventually, as you notice, eventually the world evolves. So,
It does. It does.
so I'm hoping we're going to try to start. I mean, we have. There's discussions about it.
Oh yeah,
You know,
for sure.
legislators have looked at it. So.
Hmm.
But that'll be nice to know in the future that maybe this will make the internet a little safer.
I think it's going to go in the opposite direction.
You know?
Personally,
No.
I don't think it's going to get any. It hasn't gotten any safer since its inception. It's only gotten more dangerous as time's gone on. I don't see that reversing. Personally, that's what I think.
That's
It's awful. If you keep going on to Google, you'll find stuff.
and like Jim was saying, sometimes it's easier not to.
Yeah.
you
And that's
know?
the thing. I mean, sounds like you've just barely scratched the surface of what's out there.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The amount of information,
Oh, yeah.
good information, but for all the good information, there's
Yes.
probably
10 times bad stuff.
yep.
But
Mhm.
and I'm just hoping that more people would look at the good part and try to keep working with it. And because the more you teach yourself, the more you start to rationalize and understand how other things work, how other things
Mhm.
people. So learning constantly is never a bad thing.
No, I
You
don't think
know.
so either.
And
But-
trying different things is wonderful because some people want to be let's bring the past in the past this in the past that. That's fine. Let's
Mhm.
learn from the
Learn
past.
from it. Yep.
Let's not live there,
Nope.
because if we did, we'd be still where we were.
Oh
And
yeah, I would.
things were, I mean, medicine would still be where it is,
Mhm.
and they would be like President Garfield. They're saying it wasn't the assassin that really killed him, but the medicine of the day.
Yeah.
But it was the best that they knew at the time.
At the
So they
time, right.
felt they were doing the right thing.
Mhm.
So if we look at today, we feel like we're doing the right thing. But 10 years from now, can we look back and say, well, you were doing the best you could
at the time
at the
for what you had
time,
available.
for what you
and
knew.
for the knowledge you had.
Right.
Yeah.
So long as we keep trying to do the best,
yeah.
it's going to,
That's all we
like I
can
said,
do.
a lot of times things go wrong. That's what happens with World War I.
Well, and then you learn from it
Yeah. And go on.
and do not repeat it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, if we're not learning the past.
Hmm.
We're not learning
Right, we're due to repeat
predict
it.
the future.
Hmm. Yep, you got it.
Well, it looks like we got 10:02 here.
Yep.
We didn't get a lot of comments today, but I'm glad we got what we got. And I'm wonderful to have my daughter.
Yes,
online.
that was cool.
That was cool. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Friday. Are you here?
Tomorrow, Rich, I think, will be here
will be
tomorrow,
here tomorrow.
and I think Paul's back tomorrow.
Paul's back tomorrow. Okay,
And yeah, so and then Monday, I will not be here on Monday, so I'm guessing
Okay.
Paul will be here. We just have to double check that.
good. Okay.
I'll be in New
It's so much
Hampshire.
easier when you have someone to talk to instead of talking by myself.
Yeah,
Although,
talking by yourself's a little difficult.
Well, no, you pretend you got the phone. You're talking to someone on the phone and just go for it. And then they don't, oh, he's not talking to himself. He's on the phone. But yeah, so great.
Okay.
So we'll see you.
Yeah, Rich will be here in the morning.
Yeah, I've only met Rich. I've actually had a chance to meet you a few more times. I only
Mhm.
met Rich 2 or 3 times now, so it'd be good
Okay.
to get to know him a little.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
Yep.
So
he'll be here.
I guess we're going to call it a day here at SN Radio. You know, I still don't have the little Burns agency up on the screen like I'm
It's
supposed
scrolling on the bottom.
to. Oh, scrolling on the bottom. Oh, plus it's behind my head again.
Yep.
So we're still good. I just want to make sure our sponsors,
all good.
all the other sponsors,
Absolutely.
the banks and all the other businesses that help out here. It's fantastic. All right. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good day.
Have a good one.